Picture this: a lonely gas station in one of America's most isolated corners. The faint hum of cicadas in the heat, the sudden roar of Harley-Davidson engines approaching, and no one realizing that what was about to happen would become one of rock's most unexpected moments. The real surprise? The Hells Angels had no idea who they were about to meet. In the middle of the Arizona desert along Route 66, the clock struck 3 in the afternoon. The temperature hovered near 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and waves of heat shimmered above the road. The gas station was a classic biker stop, quiet, remote, and the kind of place where nobody asked questions. Ozzy Osbourne pulled in with his old Toyota Camry, the fuel gauge deep in the red. His map showed the next gas station nearly 80 miles away. At 75, the rock legend hadn't imagined he'd end up stranded like this. After a short but draining argument with Sharon, he'd decided to drive out alone to clear his mind. "Ozzy, you're 75. You can't just take off like this anymore," Sharon had said. But Ozzy's answer was calm and certain. "Sharon, I'm free until the day I die. Sometimes I just need silence." He wore faded blue jeans, a worn Black Sabbath t-shirt, and an oversized baseball cap. His dark sunglasses were meant to keep him unrecognized, or so he hoped. As he began filling up his tank, he heard the distant growl of engines. One, then another, then a whole wave, like a thunderstorm of exhaust pipes. 10 members of the Hells Angels rolled in, wearing their trademark black leather vests. They looked like classic bikers, men in their 40s to 60s, long hair, tattoos, weathered faces, and a look that said, "Don't mess with us." Their leader, a man called Tank, stood out immediately. A massive 6'3", broad-shouldered, around 50, exuding command even as he parked his bike. None of them had any clue who they were about to cross paths with. "What's this?" Tank said, eyeing Ozzy's old car. "A Grandpa Mobile." The gang burst out laughing. To them, an old Japanese sedan was the opposite of toughness. Ozzy glanced up but stayed quiet, continuing to pump gas like nothing was happening. His calmness drew their attention. Most people either avoided them or froze with fear. But this man seemed different. "Hey, Grandpa," Tank called out, his voice echoing. "What brings you here? Lost or something?" The laughter got louder. "Maybe we should give you a lift home. Your family might be worried." Beside him, a scarred man in his mid-40s, known as Razor, added with a grin, "But first, maybe he can give us some entertainment." "Right, boys?" The others chuckled, amused by the situation, unaware that the real show was just beginning. The gas pump clicked off. Ozzy slowly replaced the fuel cap, his movements unhurried and steady. The kind of calm that comes from a lifetime of facing chaos. Most people would have panicked or tried to run, but Ozzy Osbourne wasn't most people. Decades on stage had taught him how to handle any crowd, from rowdy hecklers to quiet fans. He turned toward the bikers, speaking in his familiar Birmingham accent. "Entertainment, huh?" he said. "Interesting choice of words. I wonder if we mean the same thing by that, lads." Tank frowned. There was something unusual about this old man, and not fear, but confidence. And his voice. It sounded oddly familiar, though Tank couldn't quite place it. "Who the hell are you?" Tank asked, his voice carrying a slight pause. Ozzy offered that crooked, familiar smile. "I'm just someone who came to get petrol, mate," Tank pressed on. "But I'm curious, who are you? Come from a costume party or something?" Those words stunned the Hells Angels. Nobody spoke to them like that, especially not someone his age. Tank stepped forward, puffing out his chest. "We're the Hells Angels, old man. The toughest guys around, and you're picking a fight with us now." His tone held both threat and curiosity. Why wasn't this man afraid? Why wasn't he running? Ozzy tilted his head with an almost childlike curiosity. "Hells Angels? That name rings a bell. Aren't you the ones from that Altamont concert? The Rolling Stones show in 1969, that awful night." A few members were taken aback. Most people knew who the Hells Angels were, but few remembered Altamont. This man clearly knew his music history. Tank's anger grew. Altamont was a dark part of their past and not something they liked to talk about. "Yeah, that was us," Tank snapped. "And right now I'm real close to breaking your nose, Grandpa." Ozzy raised his hands in a calming gesture. "Easy there, mate. We're just having a chat," Ozzy said casually. "By the way, I was backstage at that concert, hanging out with the Rolling Stones. Small world, isn't it?" The words hit like a shockwave. The Hells Angels exchanged looks. This old man was either fearless, completely out of his mind, or something else entirely. They began observing him more closely now, his tone, his mannerisms, the way he spoke. There was something familiar about all of it. Tank narrowed his eyes, studying Ozzy's face and voice. "Who do you think you are, hanging backstage like that?" he asked, his suspicion mixing with curiosity. Ozzy simply shrugged as if it were nothing special. "I was the lead singer of Black Sabbath. Or was anyway. These days I'm retired. Sharon and I mostly stay home watching TV while she tells me, 'Ozzy, do this, don't do that.'" The name hit the group like a thunderclap. The Hells Angels froze for a second, then Razor stepped forward, disbelief in his eyes. "You're lying." "Black Sabbath singer is a lot younger," Razor muttered, then stopped, studying Ozzy's face more closely. There was something unmistakable about him. The older man's expression seemed to urge them silently, as if saying, "Go ahead, take a closer look." Tank felt the same uncertainty, but wasn't ready to believe it. "If you're really Ozzy Osbourne," he said firmly, "prove it. Sing something. Do something." The Hells Angels formed a loose circle around him, all watching intently. If what they suspected was true, then standing before them wasn't just any musician. It was a rock legend they all respected. Ozzy slowly removed his sunglasses, as if revealing a secret he'd kept for years. The moment they saw his face and those familiar blue eyes and features from countless posters and album covers, everything stopped. The gang froze. "My God," Razor whispered. "It's really him." Tank's jaw dropped. "No way, you're actually Ozzy Osbourne." Ozzy gave a small, relaxed smile. "Yeah, I'm that guy," he said. "The one who wrote Paranoid, bit a bat's head off and nearly killed Sharon, or so they say. The media loves that story." He gave a quick wink to show he was joking. "Truth is, I didn't mean to hurt Sharon. I was just drunk and out of my mind back then. But she forgave me. We've been married for 42 years now." The Hells Angels were speechless. Tank leaned forward, his tone full of regret. "Mr. Osbourne, Damn, we didn't recognize you. I'm sorry." "Truly." The rest of the group lowered their heads, embarrassed for how they had acted. Ozzy lifted his hand calmly. "Tank, right?" "Don't worry about it, mate. I always dress like this," Ozzy said with a small grin. "Sharon's always telling me, dress properly. But I prefer being comfortable. Besides, you were just doing your job. A Hells Angel's job is to intimidate people, right? But honestly, I've faced so many rough situations that not much scares me anymore." His words eased the group, replacing their tension with curiosity. The bikers exchanged looks and then laughter broke out. The mood completely shifted, now filled with respect and admiration instead of hostility. Razor stepped forward. "Mr. Osbourne, when I was a kid, I must have listened to Paranoid 1,000 times. That album changed my life, especially War Pigs. It came out during the Vietnam War, and those lyrics captured exactly how we felt." Tank nodded. "For me, it was Iron Man. That song made me fall in love with rock music. And now standing here with you, a real legend, it's unreal." The Hells Angels were now full-on fans. Ozzy smiled warmly. "When we wrote Iron Man, none of us imagined it would reach people like that. When I first heard Tony Iommi's riff, I said, 'This is something,' but I didn't expect it to last this long. We wrote it back in 1970. I was 21 then. Now I'm 75 and people are still singing it." "That's wild." No one wanted to end the moment. The bikers just stood there soaking it in. Then Tank spoke, his voice full of respect. "Mr. Osbourne, is there anything we can do for you? Escort you somewhere? Offer security or anything?" Ozzy shook his head. "No, mate. I just need to fill up and get back on the road." He paused, glancing around at the group. Their faces showed pure excitement, like kids meeting their hero. "Although," Ozzy added with a grin, "we could chat for a bit. It's quiet out here, and honestly, I was feeling a bit lonely. Sharon and I had a little argument." "I just needed a bit of silence," Ozzy said calmly. The offer delighted the Hells Angels. The legendary Ozzy Osbourne wanted to hang out with them. They quickly formed a semicircle outside the gas station, sitting like they were around a campfire. Ozzy joined them without hesitation. "So," he began in that familiar voice, "tell me what it's really like being Hells Angels. I've always been curious. The media paints you in a bad light, but I'd rather hear it firsthand." Tank took the lead, explaining their way of life: freedom, brotherhood, and loyalty. "We're actually like a family," he said. We protect each other and stick together no matter what. Ozzy nodded thoughtfully. That's a lot like the rock world. On tour backstage, even when we argue, we still look out for each other in the end. Razor leaned forward, curious. So was the bat story true? The one where you bit its head off? That legend's everywhere, Ozzy laughed. Ah, that one. Yeah, it really happened, but it was an accident. It was in Des Moines, 1982. Fans used to throw fake bats on stage. That night, someone threw a real one. Poor thing was already dead. I didn't realize it in the moment, all hyped up on adrenaline. Ended up needing rabies shots afterward. The bikers burst into laughter. And Sharon told me that day, Ozzy, you're completely mad. She was right, of course. As the talk went on, something genuine began to form between two very different worlds. Ozzy understood their craving for freedom. He'd lived it himself through music, rebelling against norms and carving his own path. The Hells Angels, in turn, saw parts of themselves in Ozzy, the defiance, the independence, the refusal to conform. Mr. Osbourne, said a 35-year-old member nicknamed Snake, "Can I just say something? Your story with Sharon? It really means a lot to me. You two went through so much, but you stayed together. Cheating, scandals, addictions, and health struggles. Yet through it all, you both stood strong." Ozzy's expression softened. Sharon. "Without her, I wouldn't be alive today," he admitted. "She saved me from myself. Even in my darkest times, she never walked away. Marriage isn't easy, especially ours. But when it's with the right person, it's worth every fight. She's my manager, my wife, and my best friend." His voice trembled slightly. Tank nodded. "We bikers are the same way. We stick together, in good times, bad times, and the rough ones." Ozzy smiled. "Exactly. Music is like that too. In Black Sabbath with Tony, Geezer, and Bill, even when we argued for decades or couldn't stand each other at times, deep down, we were family. We still talk. We still care." As darkness settled in, the group kept talking, reluctant to end the night. Tank eventually stood up. "Mr. Osbourne, this evening meant a lot to us. Meeting and talking with you. It's one of the best moments of our lives." The others agreed. It was a legendary night. "We'll never forget it." Ozzy rose to his feet as well. "Same here, boys. You're genuinely good people. I'll be honest, I had some misconceptions. The media paints you in a bad light, but the truth is very different." His sincerity touched the Hells Angels deeply. Tank reached into his pocket and pulled out a Hells Angels patch, a handcrafted emblem featuring a skull with angel wings. "This is yours now. You're officially an honorary member." Ozzy accepted it, eyes glistening. "This means a lot. Thank you. I'll carry it with me always." Then he took something from his own pocket, an old yellowed concert ticket. "And this is for you. It's from the first Black Sabbath concert in 1970 at Birmingham Town Hall. I've always kept it for luck." The bikers were speechless. They were holding a piece of rock history. Razor said, "We'll take great care of it. Mr. Osbourne, we'll frame it and hang it in our clubhouse." Tank added, "And we'll tell our grandkids how we became friends with Ozzy Osbourne. Nobody will believe it. Who'd think Hells Angels would end up talking with Ozzy in the desert?" Ozzy chuckled. "Life's funny like that. I didn't expect this when I woke up this morning, either." The bikers escorted Ozzy to the gas station exit, their motorcycles forming a protective line around his car like a VIP convoy. Ozzy rolled down the window. "Safe travels, mates. Take care of yourselves, and if you ever need anything, reach out." "We're friends now," Tank smiled. "You too, Mr. Osbourne. Remember, you're part of the Hells Angels family now. Our door's always open." It was a heartfelt farewell that left everyone emotional. The next day, Ozzy told Sharon the story. She listened in disbelief. "Ozzy, did you actually become friends with the Hells Angels?" she asked, then laughed. "Of course you did. You can make friends with anyone." Ozzy grinned. "Sometimes the best friendships come from the most unexpected places. Those men taught me that appearances mean nothing. It's what's inside that matters." Sharon hugged him. "That's who you've always been. You always see the good in people. That's why I love you." This story became legendary among the Hells Angels, too. Tank and his crew shared it whenever they could. Photos of the patch and concert ticket went viral on social media. The bond between two very different worlds became proof that music and respect know no limits, and that prejudice can be completely wrong.